women. Hebrews 10:12. But this man, after he had offered one sacrifice for sins forever, sat down on the right hand of God. Stop saying Jesus is God. He is not God. You're breaking the very first commandment, have no other gods before me. Why would God nail his own law to have other gods before him to the cross and say it's done away with? It's because that's not true and you're calling on the wrong name. Revelation 3:21. To him that overcometh will I grant to sit with me in my throne, even as also I overcame, and am set down with my Father in his throne. Jesus is not God. There's Jehovah, God the Father. He sent to us his son Yeshua, his son, whom he created on day one, the light of the world. Yeshua is the Son of God. Then he sent him to us. So they are not three in one. There is no pagan trinity. You've been deceived. And so he says, to him that overcometh will I grant to sit with me in my throne, even as also I overcame and am sat down with my Father in his house, or in his throne. What does he mean to overcome? You can literally read like all of 1 John to find this out, but we'll go to 1 John 5. By this we know that we love the children of God when we love God and keep his commandments. For this is the love of God, that we keep his commandments and they're not grievous. And the church is going to lie to you and say that, oh, it's impossible, it's too hard to keep, no one can keep them. That's why Jesus had to come and die and nail him to the cross and end it. It's because they cannot make the distinction between the 10 commandments and the sacrificial law that was added on out, because they had broke the 10 commandments they had agreed to keep at Horeb to be God's people. So Yeshua Messiah finished the sacrificial law and refreshed us to the holy covenant, the 10 commandments. So if you're not keeping them, you're not his children. So it says, for whatsoever is born of God overcometh the world, and this is the victory that overcometh the world, our faith, our faithfulness to the holy covenant. Who is he that overcomes the world but he that believes that Yeshua is the Son of God? The servants of God, the servants of Jehovah, know that Yeshua is the Son of God, whom he sent. Deuteronomy 18:15-18 to teach us all that was desired at Horeb, where they begged for the life-giving water, and he gave them the life-giving water, the 10 commandments. It's an idiom. So when you're born again, when you're baptized in this life-giving water and you receive this Holy Spirit of truth for obedience to it, then you are born again and overcome the world when you love your brother, when you love your neighbor as yourself, which is rebuking their sin, Leviticus 19, and not defrauding them, not lying to them. So you're going to teach them the true gospel, you're going to teach them the truth and not withhold the truth from them. You're not going to be a murderer in your heart. You're not going to withhold the kingdom from them. You're not going to send them to great tribulation or into God's wrath by not rebuking their sin and leaving all of their blood on your hands. And so that's how you overcome the world. That's how you overcome sin. You resist the devil, right? You keep the 10 commandments. That is how the Messiah casted out demons in Luke 11. No doubt the kingdom of God has come upon you, right? When he comes out, when he comes casting out devils by the finger of God. And the finger of God, that's an idiom for the 10 commandments. They're written by the finger of God. They're eternal. And 2 tables of stone, right? Not the what everybody will refute to keep the 10 commandments with saying it's the ministrations of death, but really that was just a posture copy of the sacrificial law, the sin and death that was made, the curses that was put on those stones. The 10 commandments were written in stone by the finger of God. And Yeshua came to teach you and say to keep them and rebuke sin when they're not keeping them, the believers. So that's what he did. And if you loved God, if you loved his son, you'd be doing the same thing. But the church is saying tolerate sin, which is why you have 45,000 different denominations, including now women pastors and gay and lesbian LGBTQ churches, because they've tolerated sin, right? Jude 1:4, certain men have crept in unaware and turned the grace of our God into lasciviousness, the grace of God being his conviction upon our hearts to obey him and keep the 10 commandments, which is then why Hebrews 10 says that if you do despite unto the spirit of grace, right, how much sore punishment will you have? So let's see, it says, he that despised Moses' law died without mercy under 2 or 3 witnesses, right, when they were under sacrificial law. Well, he finished that now, so now we just rebuke sin. Leviticus 19:15-18, he elevated that part of the law. Of how much more sore punishment, suppose ye, shall he be thought worthy, who hath trodden under foot the Son of God, right? because the Messiah died to end sacrificial law so we can keep the Ten Commandments, which is why, we receive the Spirit of grace. And hath counted the blood of the covenant wherewith he was sanctified an unholy thing, right? They're saying nobody can keep the Ten Commandments. It's the laws of death, right? And sin and death. And that's not true. Two different things. Wherewith he was sanctified an unholy thing and had done despite unto the Spirit of grace. Titus 2:11-15 tells you that grace is going to teach you to deny ungodliness, which means you're going to keep the Ten Commandments and stop sinning. So if you're not going to adhere to the Spirit of grace and conviction of God, then you're doing despite unto the Spirit of grace, right? Trotting underfoot the Son of God. How much more sort of punishment will you have? Great tribulation. And so, I forgot what I was talking about already, but the Spirit of grace, yeah. And then before that, it was keeping the Ten Commandments. And so, and so God, right, is Jehovah. His son is Yeshua. It's not a trinity. Yeshua is the Son of God, and Jehovah sent his son to teach us to obey him. How? Keep the Ten Commandments and love your neighbor as yourself, which is rebuking them of their sin.